Hey guys, welcome back. Yes, I brought back the original intro in this video. Some folks were commenting, what happened to the original intro? We miss it. So there it is for you guys. Today we're out here in the bitter cold to play with a handgun from Taurus. And yes, this is the second Taurus handgun I've bought probably in 10 years. The pistol that I'm holding is the TX22. And why did I buy this gun? Well, we just recently did a CP33 video with the new Kel-Tec offering that has a 33 round quad stack magazine. And a lot of commenters said, hey Mac, we really want to get your opinion on the TX22. It's a great pistol. And so I did a little bit of searching, and it seems that the pistol is pretty much universally liked. And so I thought, well, what the heck, went to my local gun shop, and we took a look at some of their offerings. They had a black one in this flat dark earth slide version. They had one in black without a manual safety. I picked up one with a manual safety, and they sold it to me for 250 bucks. And they also let me know that it actually is suppressor ready, and it comes with everything you need in the box. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. But so the handgun has some basic 3-dot sights, has forward slide serrations. You have an ambi safety on both sides, but you have only a slide stop slide release on the left-hand side of the pistol. And you have a magazine release, and I have to check the manual because I don't recall, it may be reversible. I'll double check that and stick a lower third in here for you guys. But anyway, it's a striker fired handgun. So you can see a little striker hole back here. And it is a very, very ergonomic carry-sized pistol gun, very lightweight because of the polymer and the use of castings up top and polymer and things like that in the slide as well. But the gun feels really, really good and has a surprisingly good trigger. The other feature of the gun that people like, myself included, is this interesting double stack-ish 16 round magazine. So this is like half of a CP33 mag. You can see how the rounds are staggered in there, but it's holding 16 rounds. Now, just yesterday, Glock made a big announcement of the Glock 44, and it's a Glock 45-ish type handgun that's chambered in 22. And so it looks like everybody's getting in the 22 handgun game, even Glock, and we'll do a video on that pistol when it becomes available on the market, because I'm not on the friends list at the Glock company because I'm critical of them at times, saying they're a one-trick pony and stuff like that. So they're not going to invite me to their little launch parties. So anyway, we're going to just oil this gun up. We're using some LPS lubricant, which is a very fine lubricant, but I found that it works pretty good on guns. Put a little bit of lubricant on it. We've loaded some Federal 40 grain high velocity or high-ish velocity. I'm using ish a lot in this video. Rounds, which we've had very, very good luck with. This should cycle most anything. It's just a simple lead 40 grain bullet. Insert it into the pistol grip, locks in very, very easily. Doesn't rattle around much. Looks like it chambered around, safety off. And let's see if the sights are mostly on. I have to paint up a fresh target. Locks open. Looks like the sights are mostly on. I was shooting at the T-box on that challenge target over there. It comes with 2 magazines. Some folks have said magazines are hard to find. My dealer had some, but they sold out, so I said save a couple more for me. I don't know what they cost just yet. Insert another 16 round magazine. Drop the slide. Very positive feeling controls. All right, first 2 magazines, and I really like this pistol. If it continues to perform like this, I can see why this thing is really popular. Very, very interesting. Great ergonomics, very smooth shooting, outstanding trigger, and it looks like the ejection pattern's nice and smooth with those 40 grain Federal loads. All right, let's get in the Jeep, warm up a bit, and reload our 16 round magazines. So we warmed ourselves up in the Jeep and we loaded magazines, and I also went ahead and put the thread adapter on the TX22 so you guys can see it. Now there's a small wrench flat there so you can snug it up onto the barrel, and I would recommend probably if you're going to leave this on here, which I would, you can buy an aftermarket thread protector, but also I would probably put a little bit of blue Loctite on there just to keep it in place. And so when you drop the slide, looks like any other threaded barreled suppressible handgun. Looks pretty sharp. All right, so the suppressor I brought out this afternoon, it's kind of a neat little can. Find it in here. It's made by Thompson Machine. And what makes this suppressor neat, it's called a Horizon, is that it's user configurable. So it's like a little erector set. You can unscrew it and take baffles out and make it any particular length that you want. Some of the baffles are more closely stacked together, others are further apart. The serial number is on this end piece here. So this is the fully assembled Horizon with all of its baffles in place. We're shooting the 40 grain Federal still. We did bring out some of the CCI subsonics. Now, in my CP33 video, people asked, well, did it work suppressed? And the answer is yes, but none of the 22s that I tried that day worked with the CCI subsonic ammunition. So we'll try it again this afternoon with this gun and the CP33. So now I have the suppressor in place. No booster required because it's a fixed barrel. And I also want to clarify that, yes, we checked the manual. This is a reversible magazine release. Takes the use of tools, but you can reverse it for left-handed use. And Jason pointed out that I didn't mention that the rear sight was both windage and elevation adjustable. So I wanted to clarify that. So you have a little tiny screwdriver. You can adjust elevation by the top screw, and then you can adjust windage with a little tiny screw on the right-hand side of the sight. All right, so let's go ahead and lock the slide to the rear, load up some more of those Federals. These are supersonic. And let's see how well the little TX22 cycles with these. Shoot the dirt so you guys can kind of hear it. I'm gonna break one ear cup loose because that sounds really quiet, even with supers. I don't think this barrel's long enough to make those rounds supersonic. That's really quiet. I don't see where the sights are at here. I'm gonna aim center of the lungs. Looks like it's hitting a little right. All right, that's it. Looks like it's hitting right and low and all over the place. Tighten up that suppressor a little bit. Not that bad of a shot. All right, let's try this again. That would sound like a pud load. I didn't feel the slide cycle all the way, and there was a spent cartridge in the chamber. It did not feel like a full power load, so that was a bad round. It hit the target. So I'm just thinking here really quick to make sure I heard a ring afterwards, make sure the bullet got out of the barrel. All right, so now shooting to point of aim. The can was just a little bit loose out here. Tightened it all up and shot right to point of aim at about, I'd say about 10 yards away. Very, very cool. Suppresses extremely well. That can, it's a pretty voluminous can for a 22, is really working well, very quiet. So much so with the barrel, it doesn't seem like the barrel's long enough, and this is the same thing with my Ruger, which only has about a 3.5 inch barrel. The bullet isn't making its supersonic velocities before it leaves the barrel. And so this is really quiet, even with standard velocity 22 ammunition. When you get your TX22, it's going to come in a box that looks just like this one. On the inside, you're going to find some promotional materials, a really good owner's manual. It's nicely printed, color illustrations, goes through all the ins and outs of the gun. Some NRA garbage. Lifetime warranty card and an ATF safety thing. You have this little tiny magazine loader to assist in loading. And this is what cinched it for me. For my 250 bucks, we were talking to the guys at the gun counter and said, well, geez, they did it again. Another company doesn't make provisions for a silencer. And they do. It includes the adapter. And when we field strip it, we'll show you how that works with the barrel. And of course, you'll have your pistol. And it comes with two 16-round magazines, which we have loaded and are sitting over here separately. So the gun is not loaded. And we're going to go through a quick disassembly here. Let's put all this stuff back. Also inside the box, this little orange Ziploc thing or zip tie thing was actually down the barrel as a safety of sorts. All right, so field stripping the TX22. First, you're going to want to make sure that the weapon's empty. There's no magazine inserted. The chamber is clear. This one has the optional manual safety. I chose this over a safetyless version simply because I want to teach my son how to use this pistol, and I want to teach him the proper use of a safety. And this will never be a carry gun. So we have the slide lock to the rear. On the end here, you'll notice this little cap. I had to break this loose with a crescent wrench, but this is what unthreads. Then that 22 muzzle device, that little adapter that I showed you in the box that came with the gun, screws on. The slide can ride up over the threaded portion, but then it makes a 1/2 by 28 thread on the end, so you can then direct thread a can onto the gun. So that is what finally pushed me over the edge to make me pick this gun up and do a video with it. All right, to take it apart, we've locked the slide to the rear, confirmed that it's empty. You're going to go ahead and let it go home, point the gun in a safe direction, and pull the trigger and release the striker. Now, just like a Glock or other guns, I'm going to slightly pull that slide to the rear right here, just in front of the trigger. You're going to see 2 little tabs, one on either side. I'm going to grab those tabs, pull them down. That slide will go forward about that far, then just lift off the frame. There you have your polymer frame with metal inserts, and the ejector is metal. You can see that there. On the inside of the slide, you're going to have a captive recoil spring with a polymer guide rod, and you will have your barrel. Now, this is just a straight blowback, so there's no locking piece involved. This will engage with the receiver and keep it in a fixed position. Back here, we have a polymer piece and a polymer end cap, and then we have a hardened steel insert there, which is actually the face of your breech face. On top, we have an adjustable rear sight and a front sight for a 3-dot sight pattern. All right, put it back together again. We're just going to go ahead and drop that little barrel in. Take your captive recoil spring and guide rod, stick that on there. And now all you have to do is, you'll see there's relief cuts here and here. We're going to line those up with the slide rails, so you don't have to go all the way forward. You're just going to push down from right about there, and then draw the slide rearward, and it'll automatically lock into place. And the gun is reassembled. In our last video with the Kel-Tec CP33, we started to talk about firing the gun suppressed, and we had the screw loosen and that pin back out, and we didn't get to revisit the issue of suppression. Again, the gun works just fine suppressed, but what we did discover is my Ruger and the CP33 would not cycle the CCI Quiet 22 long rifle. It's a 40 grain bullet, which is the same weight as the standard Federal, but it's advertised at a muzzle velocity of 710 feet per second. And I don't know what the barrel length is that they're using to generate that velocity, but the other guns didn't cycle it. We'll give it another chance today, but I wanted to try 5 rounds. The top of this ammunition, you can tell that the subs are a little bit darker than your standard Federal ammo. And so I'm gonna just double check it here really quick. Just make sure. Yep, you can see how the Federal's a little bit lighter in color. Federal on top, subsonic on the bottom. So I'm going to fire 5 rounds of the subsonics and see if they cycle the TX22, because when we were out here last time, they wouldn't cycle the Kel-Tec or the Ruger. Nope. Spent case. All right, now we're going to be back to the standard 40 grain Federal loads that should cycle just fine. All right, so the trigger on this thing is really, really nice. And something else that I want to point out is, you'll notice I have gloved hands on, and I can easily get a gloved finger inside the trigger guard with room to spare. So out here shooting in the cold, it's nice. Grab another magazine of those 40 grain Federals. No more subsonics, because they just don't work. And that's 3 guns now. Those rounds don't work in for me. That was a failure to fire. Let's see if I can find that round. It was a click, no bang. I wanted to see how hard it hit the rim of that case. Looks like it disappeared into the snow. So I don't know if that was a failure of the gun or a failure of the ammo, but I will say we definitely had a failure to fire last time we were out here shooting those same 22s. One round there was a click, no bang, and it was no fault of the CP33. So we'll keep shooting this little guy and see if we have any other issues. But keep in mind, guys, what's really interesting about 22s, because of their straight walled case, they're not the most reliable guns in the world. And so you will find that some 22s will be very ammo specific. Some of them won't like anything other than super high velocities, you know, like the CCI mini mags and things like that. Other handguns will digest almost anything you put in them, like a Ruger 1022. So the fact that this is shooting just standard velocity 40 grain bullets, I think I mistakenly said high velocity at the beginning of the video, but that's not what they are. They're not high velocity like a mini mag. They're just a 40 grain load. Now there are lighter bullets. You can get 36 grain and stuff like that as well. And some handguns just simply won't cycle it. So if you have a 22, pick up a bunch of different ammunition, shoot it, see what the gun likes in terms of reliability and accuracy, and just kind of stick with it. That's just the nature of semi-automatic 22s. So there's two primary manufacturers of bulk pack ammunition, at least where we live, and those two manufacturers are Federal, which we've been shooting today, and Remington. Now, both Jason and I shoot a lot of 22, and we both agree that typically speaking, we have better luck with Federal ammunition. That's not just because they send ammo our way. Actually, the ammo we're shooting today is purchased. I bought it. You can actually see the $13 price tag or whatever on it. So we brought out some Remington as well, and this is some of their bulk ammo. It comes in over like 500 and some odd rounds per box, loose, and this is a 36 grain bullet. So we've taken the suppressor off the TX22, and as we all know, 22s can be a little bit finicky about their ammunition, so we're going to see how the 36 grain bulk pack ammo from Remington works in a little handgun. Cycles, feels like the slide is nice and fast. And we took the suppressor off because sometimes suppressors can actually aid in reliability through excess back pressure, but it's not like 22 makes a whole lot of back pressure. And something else with regard to rimfire, it's not uncommon to have duds with rimfire cartridges, and that's one of the major reasons why I don't advocate for people carrying 22 long rifle handguns as defensive arms. Get a centerfire handgun simply because rimfire, again, in its manufacturing, it's just not as consistent ignition-wise as a centerfire cartridge, in my experience. So I will say the trigger on this thing is nice and light. It's right around 4.5 pounds, and you can see as soon as you start to put pressure on it, it takes up the slack. Right there's a shelf. Click. No over travel really when the gun cocks. Look how short the release was. I actually fired it again by accident. So I'm gonna hold the trigger to the rear and cycle that slide here really quick, and you can see where the reset is. You'll be able to hear it right there. That's full release. So it has a really, really good trigger. It has a nice tactile feedback on the reset. It's a nice short reset, and the gun shoots quickly, very accurately. And it's just very, very ergonomic. Fills the hand with this hump back here. I am really liking this handgun. And that's probably the first time you'll ever hear me say I like a Taurus product, but this thing really works nicely and with different types of ammunition. So real quick, I wanted to give you guys an update on the CP33. So we tightened down that little screw in there, restaked that roll pin, and everything seems to be working fine with the handgun. It still does not cycle the CCI subsonics. None of my 22 handguns do. But I just wanted to show you guys that it does work, because everybody was asking, well, how does it work suppressed? Does it work suppressed? Because I kind of stopped mid-thought when the gun started having functional problems. So now we have 33 rounds of Federal 40 grain stuff loaded up here, and here it is being suppressed. Well, guys, honestly, I am thoroughly impressed with the TX22. It's the best 250 bucks I've spent in a long time. It's a very value-based handgun, but the reliability seems to be there. The ergonomics are good. You even have an accessory rail down here. Now, why I wouldn't recommend this gun for personal protection? You can still mount a light down there and use this for varmint and critter protection. I know I have the occasional rogue squirrel that likes to chew on my house, and this is a great tool to dispatch an annoying little critter like that with. It's just a great handgun. The sights work. It's suppressible. The only thing I can really ding it for that I prefer about the CP33 is the fact that it's not optics ready, and you probably couldn't mount an optic to it for reasons I've already explained. But other than that, it's just a great shooting little gun. And I'm not sure what other gun shops are going to sell them for. I think the full markup on it was $319. They agreed to sell it to me for right around 250 bucks. If you can get it for roughly the same price, I think it's a good value. Guys, if you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms Channel, we are supported by you. And one great way you can do that to support us is to become a Patreon supporter. There's a link down below. If you don't like Patreon for some reason, we also have Subscribestar. Again, there's a link down below in the video description. And last but not least, please swing by and check out coppercustom.com. Guys, thanks for 11 years of support, and we will talk to you guys soon. One last 16-round magazine, and we're going to get some lunch and warm up. Yep, it's a shooter. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you soon.